Rob, you know there's a big reunion this year, a big music reunion that a lot of people are talking about and going to see. Oasis, that's who it is. This feels bigger than that, doesn't it?
Oh, it's absolutely bigger than that.
It's just more important, I think, and probably more anticipated by more people. Fair to say?
Without a doubt.
I suppose the first thing we should say is that we're not dead. No one's died. I suppose people know that I'm not dead because I'm on the internet, but they didn't know that you weren't dead, and you're not, so...
Not last time I checked. No, I think we're good.
But what is dead is 8 or 16. That's gone. This podcast is no longer called 8 or 16, and it's just magically changed, hasn't it, on the internet? It's a completely different name, different artwork. We're now 2 little 8-bit characters on the channel header, and the podcast is suddenly called Not PC.
Yeah. Why is that?
I don't know, really. Why did we do this? Did we just get bored of 8 or 16? Is that what happened?
I think it's not really relevant anymore, is it? Because they start at 16 now.
Yeah. I mean, everyone pointed that out, didn't they? It's no longer. For those who didn't know, the 8 or 16 thing was a reference to 8 or 16 gig of unified memory on the Mac choice, and that just doesn't exist anymore, like Rob says. So I think also we just needed to have a bit of a reset, and the key thing is that we wanted to do something a little bit different by having a guest on every single episode. We've had guests in the past, haven't we? Long time ago.
Yeah,
but
sporadically.
Definitely sporadically. But the idea with not PC is to have someone on each time, and we may as well just introduce our first guest, might we? Let's do it. We have Mr. Patrick Rambles.
Hello, and I'm also not PC. So
yeah, the name of this podcast was built for you, wasn't it?
Yes.
We have an outline. I mean, 8 or 16, we always had an outline, Rob, didn't we? Which you kind of toiled over each time. We'll get straight into it in a second. I will say as well, I'm drinking. It looks a bit suspicious, this drink, but it's an alcohol-free beer. I thought I'd celebrate with an alcohol-free beer.
That's sad.
It's terrible, isn't it? You can tell I've got a 3-year-old son and a 10-week-old puppy, can't you?
Well, yes, that's it. Since we last spoke, you're now a family of 4, aren't you?
Yeah, I've got all the ripped fingers to prove it as well. Yeah, we've got a puppy.
Congratulations.
Which is great, thank you. Yeah, she's called Nala. She's an absolute maniac. I mean, it's been like 15 years since I had a puppy, so I'd completely forgotten what it was like. But yeah, she's a fox red lab, and she's already been in her first piece of... Well, she's been in quite a few videos already, but she's had her first piece of content built completely around her, which was a short form thing of the Poco F7.
Nice.
Yeah, which has gone down pretty well, I think. I mean, I don't know if you've had this, Patrick, but whenever I post anything that features my son or the dog, it immediately gets more interest and likes than anything I do myself.
Yeah, correct. If I introduce the twins or Elisa, it will get at least some engagement.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what. I mean, a great example of this is the community page on YouTube Studio. Whenever you post anything, I don't know how much you do that, Patrick, but we post on it fairly regularly. But the only ones that really get loads of traction are just photos of Harrison. I think when he was born, that had like 900 likes or something. I think on average we get about 100 likes, if that. And the Nala photo got 600 or something. Maybe that's the key to growth and success on YouTube. Just posting photos of your kids and your dogs. Rob, where do we start with this outline? Because normally what we'd do previously, you'd ask me where I've been and what I've done, and quite a lot has happened in the last 3 or 4 months that we haven't recorded the podcast.
Wow, you could sum it up in a sentence, couldn't you? Where in the world have you been?
I can't remember. so many places. Singapore, India, New York, where else? Rome, Abu Dhabi, which was like stepping into an oven, and some other places that I can't think of off the top of my head. But yeah, it's been I mean, Patrick knows it's been a crazy year in terms of releases and stuff, and all these brands just seem to be trying to get one up on themselves or over each other in terms of where these big launches are taking place. Yeah, it has been crazy since we last spoke.
Do you tend to get out and about much, Patrick?
Not as much as Mark. I went to New York, same event as Mark with the Galaxy Unpacked stuff, but I don't get invited nearly as much as Mark, so they must like him better. I think it's also to do with the location. I'm here in the middle of nowhere, Belgium, and I sort of fall between the United States, who they are interested in me, but then when they find out my location, they're like, "Oh, that's fine. You just do your European stuff." And then when I talk to European agencies, like the Belgians or the Dutch, they're not interested because my audience is in the US. So now recently my manager's been making an issue out of it, explaining how easy it is for me to get to the UK. So gradually I'm getting more invitations, but Samsung Unpacked was my first real big brand event.
And you came to the UK, didn't you, for the BYD?
Yeah. I mean, there's been a few of those, but I mean, this was big for me, the Samsung one.
It was. Is it worth just getting into the Unpacked thing? Should we just get straight into that and talk about it? Because it's been the biggest thing over the last few weeks, obviously. And as Patrick says, we were there together, weren't we? It all happened quite last minute. I've never been to an Unpacked. The only thing I've been to over the last few years is the UK hands-on of the devices, and they do like a live stream of wherever the main event is from. So, for instance, when it was in San Jose back in, was it January or February, the last Impact? I can't remember. I went to Samsung KX, which is like their retail store in London, and watched it from there. But I've never been to the live Unpacked. So to get a bit like Patrick, to get that invite was a really big deal. And
you did go to the Samsung event in London when they filled the London sky with drones.
Yeah,
which was quite impressive.
That was cool, yeah. They booked out Magazine, which some people listening to this might be aware of. Magazine's like one of those kind of event spaces in the UK, and it kind of overlooks Canary Wharf. And how much that must have cost to get that airspace to do that, I have no idea. But they threw up all these drones, hundreds of drones, with Canary Wharf in the background, which was amazing.
Yeah.
But again, that was just a live stream of the event from wherever it was back then. Can't think where it was. But yeah, it was Brooklyn, wasn't it, Patrick? And
sure was.
I wasn't very well for most of it, which didn't really help.
Yep.
Was it that gym session?
It must have been, because it started after that, didn't it? We went to the gym together. Actually, more likely, it was, let's say, a pancake house. Maybe I shouldn't drop names in case that was actually food poisoning, but I hopped to my hotel room, and then Mark got sick, so
let's see if anyone can work that one out. Yeah. Just very quickly, Rob, so this is what happened. It was the first full day I'd been there. I think you'd been there a day previously, hadn't you, Patrick? So you'd had a day to acclimatise a little bit, but
yeah,
it was my first full day, and I agreed to go to the gym with Patrick, which, if you know how much Patrick goes to the gym and what he does at the gym, that's quite a brave thing to do. But I did. As soon as we got in there, I just said, "I'll go over there. You just go and do your thing, and then we'll just meet up at the end, and then we'll all be fine." So we did that, and then we went for breakfast at this place. We hopped over to this place for breakfast, and then I completely forgot that for the rest of the day we had a food tour in Brooklyn with Samsung. So me and Patrick are sitting there eating all this breakfast, and I suddenly think, oh no, I've got to eat for the rest of the day as well. And I can eat quite a lot of food, but as I've got older, I don't know if you two have found this, but as I've got older, I can eat less, and the more I eat, the worse I feel, basically. So particularly with like carbs and stuff. But anyway, went back to the hotel, got changed, and then went out on this massive kind of food bender with Samsung, which was amazing. We had like pizza, as you can imagine, Chinese, Jamaican, loads and loads of different stuff, and then I don't know if I've told you this, Patrick, we ate in the evening as well. I even ate that evening and finished it off with this massive ice cream. And
I don't know how you got sick. It's so strange.
It's weird, isn't it? Yeah, how weird. And it was blisteringly hot. It was like 35 degrees in New York. And then the next day was Unpacked, and I remember waking up just thinking, oh no, I feel absolutely horrendous. Like stomach was going over, and I won't go into too much detail, but it wasn't great. I think I met you briefly in the lobby of the hotel, Patrick, and
yeah,
I was a bit of a state, wasn't I?
Oh, you powered through. You showed up. Suit up and show up.
Don't know about suiting up, but yeah, definitely showed up.
Yeah.
Where did they put you up, or did you have to sort your own accommodation?
What was it called?
Ace Hotel. Ace, yeah.
Oh.
It was actually quite nice. I think for New York, those rooms were quite spacious, and it had this little hipster vibe going on. I thought it was a nice place they put us up.
Were there enough toilets for you, Patrick?
No, just the one. So I was a bit disappointed. I'm going to have to talk to them for next time.
Yeah, Patrick's rider is at least 2 bathrooms. It is.
Yeah, and only blue M&Ms are. I'm not coming.
Yeah, it's just not happening, is it? Yeah, it was a lovely hotel. Was it in downtown Brooklyn? Yeah, very very nice. And then we went to Unpacked. We saw the unveiling. We got our devices. We were doing different things, weren't we, Patrick? Because you were obviously with the was it the Belgian or the Dutch?
It was a bit mixed because we're all such small countries. Belgium, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg. They're usually grouped together in what they call the Benelux, but typically that's Belgium and the Netherlands because Luxembourg never sends anyone. So so we share experiences. Let's say we go together to the dinners and everything because we're just not enough of us. And so we had a little bit of a different agenda as you guys, but mostly the social things. I think all the other like the actual program, we had the same stuff.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I should mention also that in my group we had Pete Matheson, who we will obviously get on this podcast at some point, and also Daniel from Zone of Tech, who once again we will get on this podcast at some stage. It was a nice, very small little group actually, and obviously some journalists as well. But yeah, quite a nice little tight group. But it was great. Apart from not feeling great, I really enjoyed it. I love New York. I'm a bit like Patrick with this. I'm a big fan of that city. I hadn't really spent much time in Brooklyn before, so it was nice to get a feel for that place as well.
Yeah, that was very nice. And it was only, I mean, there was a subway, as they call it, around the corner from the hotel, which would take you right to the middle of Midtown, I suppose, in 15 minutes? Yeah. So that was actually brilliant.
Yeah, it was great.
But I was actually surprised how much Brooklyn has turned into Manhattan. Because I was there maybe 10 years ago and everything's low rise and very neighborhoody and all that kind of stuff. And it's just turning into a big city. Like it was big, but I mean high rise and everything. And total transformation.
Yeah, like I say, first time I'd spent any time there at all, really. So it was quite a very sort of hipster, I thought, a very hip place.
Yeah, we were totally cool. Out of place. We're not that hip.
Can't get away with that. We never could.
So, you're in New York. Samsung have overfed you. You go to the event. They show you some stuff. What do you think of the stuff?
Do you want to go first, Patrick?
Yeah, I don't know if we should dive right into it, but So I know that some people received all the Samsung stuff. For us, the focus during the event was the Fold. So we all received a Fold to play around with. I mean, I'd seen it in Brussels. We had also a local hands-on, just like Mark, I think. And then we got another hands-on the day before the actual event. So I've already seen it and had a chance to film it in a little more of a quiet environment. But using it for a day, like actually using it, it's such an impressive device because it's so thin and light. It's incredible. I mean, I've reviewed the S25 Edge before that, and it's a cool phone. But I think it's more like to show off what they can do rather than, a phone for the masses, if you will. But I was already hoping that they would sort of transplant that technology into the Fold, and they did. I have it here. You can see this is my iPhone with it's a case, but even if I take it off, this is the Fold. Look, it's incredibly thin, very very light. I also have the Oppo Find N5, I think it's called, and it's also very thin, but it's much heavier. So it's really nice to use. The camera is pretty impressive. It's not the exact same as the S25 Ultra, but the main camera is. So that's really, I think, a big step forward. And the front screen is wider. Oops, starts talking to me. The S20,
is that Bixby?
I'm not sure because this is a new one actually. They brought a new one today and they took the other one. So I spent a week installing it and using it, and then they were like, "Yeah, you need an updated version. So just give us that one and start over." But yeah, just to finish up, the display is wider than usual, but not so wide that it's not iPhone wide. So yeah, I think it's quite nice because you can still use it in one hand, but it's wide enough to be typing comfortably. But the inside is so nice. It's I don't know. I really don't know how to explain it, but I find myself opening it up much more than I do the other foldables. Because especially with the Pixel, I never really folded it open unless I was watching some content. But this one I actually like using open and typing on it as well. So it's very much a feeling right now. I can't really explain logically why I like it so much. I'm still trying to figure that out. But this is actually a phone that for the first time in a long time, I pick up more than my iPhone. I always have one iOS device, one Android, as we all do as reviewers. But this is the first time that my iPhone is actually collecting a little dust. So I think that's a pretty big sign.
Yeah, I mean, it's not perfect. I think we've listed there's a few things on the outline that we'll come on to in terms of the kind of the things that people are picking up on very quickly. But yeah, I'm the same as Patrick. I've barely used my iPhone since I've had this. We've all got the blue one, by the way. We've all got the blue hero colour. But it's I think they've nailed that front display. That the width of it, the height of it. You can still use it one-handed, just about. It's not too bad at all, but it's not quite perfect enough to not warrant opening it up like that. And like you said, Patrick, I'm finding myself doing that a lot, to be honest, and for very specific tasks. So for checking the calendar, using Notion, doing certain things where it is beneficial to have that big screen. For instance, I was out on the road yesterday and I had to watch yesterday's video, do a very quick proof of it for Niall, and just doing it on that big screen is so much better than doing it on... Okay, I am walking around with the iPhone 16e, but I think for that it's been fantastic. But it's just the... I know we keep going about the thinness, and I think I understand why people are saying, why do we need it to be that thin? But I think until you get it in your hands and then put it in your pocket, you can't really appreciate how important that element is. It makes it such an easy phone to carry around. And when you have the benefit of that massive display inside, I think it's amazing. I think they've done such a good job with it.
I don't really understand why people aren't impressed by how thin it is, because that's the one thing I do want from a foldable. I don't want it to be two big phones on top of each other. This is now thinner than my iPhone, and that's exactly what I want. I mean, I carry my phones in my jeans a lot, and it needs to be thin, so I don't really know why that's not a huge deal. I also was lucky enough to interview the CMO for Europe for Samsung, and he was actually showing it to me, and of course we already knew this, but such a good point that they're actually limited by the USB-C port. It couldn't possibly be any smaller or thinner, or they wouldn't be able to fit the port. So this is as thin as it gets for now.
Yeah, you wouldn't want it any thinner, would you? At all?
No, this is the size and the thinness to me is perfect.
I'm
fascinated by Rob's reaction to it. Have you held one yet, Rob? Have you been to see one anywhere? Or
I have not.
Are you tempted by it?
So I'm decidedly meh about it because I've got on a Magic V3, which is only fractionally thicker. So I've already had that wow, because I don't know what the V3 weighs, but it's lighter than an iPhone. It's lighter than a S, whatever Ultra. So I've had. I know that you guys have had on a Magic. Have you had a Magic V3 or a V5, Patrick?
No, I've used the Pixel 9 Pro.
The Pixel Fold is not in the same league as
it's a great phone, but it's very thick.
Yeah,
but I do remember, like last year at IFA, which is less than a year ago, I was so impressed by it because Pete, we just talked about him, Pete Matheson had it with him, and I was like, oh my god, that's so nice and so thin. I need to get that one. So I actually bought it and reviewed it because he had it, and I was so impressed by it. But now looking back, less than a year, it's already, thick and old and not good enough. So it's moving very fast in that foldable space.
Yeah. Okay, so Mark, so I know that you have had a Magic V3.
Yep.
They're the similar dimensions. So why should I be? What am I missing about the Fold 7? Is it going to give me that magic feeling that I had the first time I picked up an on a Magic V3?
I think it does, yeah. I've not, to be fair, I've not held the Magic V. I've still got it somewhere in the drawer over there, but I've not held it for ages. So comparing it against that is quite tricky. But I think it feels like a very different phone to that for some reason. I think it's because it's a Samsung and because you've got one UI. It feels very different to an Honor phone, for instance. I think also it's because it's such a departure from the previous generation. So from the 6, the 5, all of those were pretty much the same phone, weren't they, in terms of the design? Because Samsung has made such a massive change here. It's quite rare we get this. If you think about even like Apple, and well, definitely Apple, but a lot of brands, they don't make these massive sweeping changes from a design perspective very often. It happens very rarely because they can end up cheesing off half of their loyal audience. But I think they've clearly waited for the most sensible time to do it, which for whatever reason is now, as far as they're concerned. I think because of that, because it is so different to previous folds, I think you would be impressed. I think, but you're right. It is basically roughly the same dimensions.
So I think that initial wow factor would be diminished somewhat for me because I am used to I've already had that experience with the V3. I don't know if you remember when I got my V3. I was just like, this is ludicrous. This is insane. And it's a similar thing. It's just like they couldn't make it any thinner because it's literally the thickness of a USB-C port. Yeah. So my beef with the Fold. So first of all, it's not. I don't think it's not gonna hit quite as hard as it did when I got a Magic V3 because it's more or less the same dimensions. I think the colour's very nice. That shimmery blue colour is delightful. But the thing that I really enjoy, and I said this at the time when I got it, the thing I really enjoy about the Honor Magic phones is the centred camera bump. So that when you put it camera down on your desk and you're clearing notifications or you're stopping a timer or whatever it is you're doing, it's not wobbling around like crazy. And I'm pretty sure that every reviewer on the planet has pointed out how ridiculous the Fold 7 is when you place it camera bump down. You can't use that front screen with it down. You can't, no, because it's silly. So that's my first beef. The second beef, it's not really beef. I think that the S Pen Massive are obviously going to be just storming Samsung HQ with pitchforks and because so there's no pen support. But I mean, even when the Fold did support pen, it was only on the inner screen. And again, the Honor Magic Fold series, the Foldable series, you can use a stylus on the inside and the outside display. So if a stylus is your thing, you need a Magic V5. Yeah. Then there's the cameras. So you've got 10 megapixel selfie camera on the inner and outer display. You could argue it's taken a bit of a step back from the Fold 6 because it's now not an under display selfie camera, is it? It's a pinhole camera which kind of eats into your content if you want to open it up. Not that that's really an issue because, as I've found with having a Foldable for the last year, if you want to watch content on a phone, a Foldable is not the thing to do it on because of the 1:1 aspect ratio. You actually get a bigger picture on an iPhone Pro Max or a S Ultra phone. So I overlaid an S25 Ultra over my Magic V3 when open, watching full screen video, and the picture is bigger on a normal size phone. So if consuming media is if you think that's going to be improved on a foldable phone, it absolutely isn't, unless you either want to zoom in to fill the entire frame, in which case you then have a pinhole camera obscuring it, or you want to have comedically large black bars. I've forgotten what my point was. What was I talking about? Cameras. That's cameras. It's cameras. So so you got the 10 megapixel selfie cameras, which are fine. But again, on the Magic phones, they're significantly higher. The telephoto on the Magic phones is also, actually on the V3 it was 3.5x. On the V5 it'll be 3x. But they're all like 48, 50 megapixel or 64 megapixel sensors. And we know megapixels aren't everything, but I've done various blind tests on your Discord with the regulars on there, showing a photo of the same subject taken on an iPhone, taken on a Galaxy, taken on the V3, and on more than one occasion people have preferred the photos that the Honor take, particularly when you use the hardcore filters. So although the Fold 7 has got the main camera, the 200 megapixel, the flagship 200 megapixel camera, the same as the Edge, the same as the S25 Ultra, it's also the same as the S24 Ultra. It's the same camera sensor. So it's a camera sensor from 2 years ago that I didn't get on with, and that in multiple blind camera tests, Joe Public has preferred the shots from other phones, in my experience. So I just, and it's probably a me problem, but I find that Samsung, I've never got on with Samsung camera systems. So I had the S21 Ultra, which was dreadful because it had an Exynos. I had the S22 Ultra, which was dreadful because the cameras were comedically bad. I had a 23 and I had a 24 now, and the 24 was the least worst. I didn't bother upgrading to the S25 because it's got the same camera module, and my least favourite thing about the S25 experience, or the S24 experience, was, or S24 Ultra experience even, was that I couldn't get on with the cameras. I just found that, bearing in mind I've had a bunch of other phones as well, I had nothing phones, and I like to try out what's out there and really experiment with this stuff. My primary requirement for a phone camera is to reliably take photos of my kids doing fun stuff. The Samsung is the worst at that, always. It always has been, and I perhaps with the new image processing on the Snapdragon Elite, that's because each iteration it's got slightly better, because it was always, you got shutter lag, and then everyone was saying, no, it's not, it's because they're in their app, it takes the photo when you take your thumb off the shutter button, not when you press it like on other devices, so you've got to alter your behaviour. And you did that and it would still miss your shot, and then you could get whatever the camera thing is, what's the good camera or something?
Good lock.
Is it within good lock? Is it within good? I can't. Anyway, so if you were getting hardcore about it, you could go and you could tweak the settings, you could optimize it for speed rather than quality of shot. And so my benchmark is the S24 Ultra, because that's the one I've got. I didn't bother getting the S25 Ultra because it's got the same sensor. It's the least worst it's been in terms of shutter lag and motion blur, was my other problem. But let's say that it captures the actual moment that I want. It looks great in the preview, and then it absolutely ruins it with over-sharpening, with the colours. So you never get the photo that you see when you press the button, because it then pauses for a second, goes through a bunch of really heavy-handed image processing where everything is over-sharpened. They make stuff up and they ruin the colours. So even on those occasions when I've captured the absolute moment that I wanted to capture, I've been unhappy with the photo that's been produced.
You're not keen on Samsung photography then, Rob?
I'm just annoyed. It annoys me because of the amount of photos that have disappointed me when I want to use the device, because of the anti-glare cover, because of that amazing display, which is lovely. I know, like, some people have got an issue with the PWM frequency, and the other phones are better for that. The people that are susceptible to PWM unpleasantness will know that already, and they'll know what to go for instead. But as an all-round, and even the latest One UI, I say not the latest because I haven't got a Fold 7, which has got Android 16 and One UI 8, hasn't it? But as of One UI 7, I genuinely enjoyed it. And I've said this before, so I want to use it, but I can't. That's my beef with the Samsung. Now, the Fold 7, I don't think it's going to fix any of those problems, is it? And also, it hasn't got that magic anti-reflective display, has it?
No, it hasn't. No, it won't fix any of that stuff that you don't like, because it's the same. It's basically the same main camera from the S25 Ultra,
but with a worse telly and a worse ultra wide and a worse selfie.
See, my issue with the camera system. Well, I like the camera system because I'm the opposite to you with the S24 and the S25. I've always enjoyed their cameras. So I'm glad they've taken that one from the main camera from the S25 and just basically plastered it onto the back of here. Oh, no,
don't get me wrong. If they were going to do a camera, it should be that one.
It makes total sense, yeah. But like you say, it's subjective, isn't it? What you like, and I personally like it. So for me, that's good. What I don't like is that they haven't done the same thing with the telephoto. So we're still stuck with the 3x, and I'd want 5 times, 10 times decent optical lengths, because they're very useful. The ultra wide is very good. I think that does a really good job. But yeah, I think again, I kind of said this in my review. Bearing in mind how much they have changed and how much they have improved, I'm willing to let them off a little bit with that, and hope that the Fold 8 has the full fat, proper flagship camera system. It's getting there. I think that's the best way to put it, really.
So all this to say, I accidentally bought one. So as usual, the Samsung pre-order offers are insane.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have gone. So well, admit I didn't mean to buy one. Right. I just wanted to see how cheap I could get it. So if you jump through all the hoops, if you sign up early for Galaxy Unpacked and watch the live stream, you'll usually get something. Sometimes it's like a free case. Sometimes it's 50 quid off. It varies. But if you sign up in advance and say, I'm going to watch the live stream, and you watch the live stream, you'll get some kind of bonus. I think this time around it was 50 quid off if you pre-ordered. Then for very early birds, there was another 100 quid off. And I think the general pre-order promotion at the moment is you get 512 gigs instead of 256. So that saves you 100 quid, because that's 1,899 instead of 1,799. Then, if you traded in an S24 Ultra, I think they'll give you like 435 quid, which is about the going rate. That's what you get if you traded it in at CEX. You'd get more if you sold it privately, but then you've got to faff about on Marketplace or eBay or whatever. But if you traded in early, they top that up by 100 quid. And also, if you trade in any tablet in any condition, they'll give you another 200 quid off. So,
nice.
long story short, I found that I could buy a 512 gig Fold 7 for less than £900, I think, with the trade-in of an S24 Ultra that I don't like. As I said, I've no reason to expect that I'm going to like this Fold 7 anymore, really. I don't know if I can cancel it. I haven't decided. I was going to wait until I had this conversation with you guys. If you can give me a compelling reason to not cancel it, I will.
Well, they give you, 90 days trial period?
Well, they do,
100,
but
I think, isn't it?
But if you've traded in a device, then you're stuffed, because you've effectively lost that device. You won't get that trade-in value back. They'll give you the purchase price of the device, which is in my case is 900 quid. But and I'm down.
You've lost all your stuff.
I'm down a perfectly good S25 Ultra.
No, perfectly bad. You didn't like it.
That's true. Well, I'll be fascinated by your response to it in that case, Rob, when you get it.
Well, I didn't stop there, because I was like, well, let's see what other offers they've got. So the Watch 8. So historically, I haven't got on with the watches. So I've had a Watch 4 and a Watch 6. I didn't bother with the Watch 7 because it's the same as the Watch 6, essentially. I think even down to having the same chip. I think the Watch 8 might even have the same chip with various optimizations and a new One UI Wear, or whatever it's called now. If you pre-ordered a Watch 8 at the same time as pre-ordering a Fold 7, you got 35% off, I think. And if you trade in an old one, then that's another 100 quid. And then if you used your Samsung Galaxy Unpacked live stream pre-order coupon, then you get another 50 quid off that. So long story short, I could get a Watch 8 for £140, I think.
I really like the Watch 8. Did you get the Watch 8, Patrick? Or
no, I just got the Fold, and they just today brought me the Flip as well.
Okay. Yeah, we'll come on to the Flip in a second. But they gave me the Watch 8 because part of my trip to Brooklyn was like a health thing. We did like a running thing and all the rest of it, which again wasn't great when I
had a little nap as well, didn't you?
I had a little nap, a little bit of a yoga session, yeah.
You're like a furtive squirrel or something, aren't you?
I wasn't feeling great. I had no idea what was going on. My stomach was still turning.
No, what was your sleep animal?
It was a lion, I think.
Oh, lion.
No, was it a penguin? I can't remember. It's a lion now, but I think it might have been a nervous penguin or something.
Oh, nervous penguin. I was close.
But they gave me the Watch 8 obviously for that, and I really like it. They've given me the smaller one. I can't remember what the two sizes. Is it 46mm and 42, whatever it is. It's the smaller one, which I'd normally go for the bigger one. It's not the classic either, but it's what I love about it. They've done that thing where they've made it fit much closer to. This is obviously an Apple Watch Ultra, but they've got rid of that horrible kind of thing that makes the watch stick out, so that the sensor is much closer to your skin, and it makes a big difference with the way the watch looks on your wrist, I think.
Yeah,
and
it's exactly what Apple did with the Series 10, isn't it?
It is, but for some reason I think it sits better on my wrist than the Series 10. I don't know what. Maybe I've got weird wrists. I don't know, but it's a really nice watch. I'm very, very impressed with it.
Yeah, that's
software feels
my
good.
my main problem with the watch, was on the wrist was the comedic gap between the strap and your wrist, and if they've lessened that, I like that.
It's barely there now.
What I don't like is the squircle. Why have they done that?
I don't really notice that until someone mentioned that. I didn't even know it was a squircle. It just looks like a nice watch, I think, personally. Very quickly touch, because we've got quite a few things to go through. But the flip, Patrick, you're saying you've got the flip. I've got mine here.
Just today they delivered it.
What are your thoughts? I know you've had hands on and stuff, but
yeah, I've had hands on with it. So because this one I literally just started installing. My thoughts. Well, I'm not a huge flip user. I think I don't know if I can say that, but I think it's more like a woman's phone. I know not only women use these, but I think they're very popular among women. Maybe it's the form factor. You can pop it in a purse or whatever. When I reviewed the 5, I think it was Flip 5. I did like it actually, because it does slip into your jeans quite nicely. What I don't like about it is that you have to fold it open. There's some widgets on front, but not really a usable phone, let's say. There's only a few little things that you can use, like your calendar, and a few other widgets, but you have to fold it open to use it, which I don't like. That's one disadvantage. And
do you want to know a crap fact, Patrick?
Yeah.
The area of that front display on the Flip is larger than the original display on the iPhone.
no.
Yes. It is. It is now. Can I open it? Yeah, here. So it's the whole thing now. There's also an FE, a fan edition. I don't know if you've seen that, which is basically just the body of the previous one.
They did send me that. It's some
updated
software.
Yeah.
Same camera though,
Same
but
thing.
just a
They
different
probably just
front.
needed to get rid of the stock. I don't know, but this one I quite like. Actually, the fact that I mean, this doesn't bother me at all, and just like the hold pin and the Fold 7 doesn't bother me whatsoever. I mean, I actually prefer it because the camera quality is a bit better. I don't know if it's because of it, but I'm assuming it is. And when you're watching content, it's barely even there. I mean, it becomes a blind spot, and compared to the iPhone, which has that pill-shaped thing, it doesn't matter to me. So yeah, I still have to review it, so I can't really give you that many thoughts on it yet. But personally, I'm not much of a flip user. I prefer the folds.
What's the chip in it? Is it an Exynos?
It's an Exynos.
Right,
No
well,
Snapdragon.
I've lost interest immediately.
I know. But in Europe, it used to be only Exynos chips until last year, I think it was. The 5 or the 6, maybe. They changed that.
Is it still terrible? The Exynos? Have they fixed them yet?
I've not used it enough yet to kind of make a judgment on that. I mean, I'm going to spend this weekend using it and review it as a kind of one-off thing next week, but it feels snappy. It doesn't. I do think we've reached a point now with silicon that it's, no matter what the chip is, we're probably okay. I think personally, I think we're a long way from where we were with it. Was it the S23 Ultra that had the Exynos over here, which was not a great experience. But yeah, I'm a bit like Patrick. I'm not a flip user really, but whenever I get one, I wish I was, just because it's such a cool little thing.
That's right. It does
Yeah.
feel and look nice, but it's impractical to me.
So Unpacked, pretty good, I think, in terms of very good. I think certainly in terms of the fold. I'm very tempted to switch to this. He says the YouTuber who is always switching.
Yeah.
So am I, right? But all the rumours are pointing to a trifold towards the end of the year.
They are pointing to that.
So, again, as professional device fondlers, should I cancel my Fold 7 pre-order and wait for the trifold?
There's your show title. Possibly.
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
Because it would fix my media consumption problem.
It
which
would.
is the thing that I would want to do most on a foldy out display. Is if you've got on the trifolds, you've got a proper, you can watch 16:9 content on it, and it'll have some black bars, but not as egregious as it is on a 1-to-1 ratio display.
And also, when you get the fold, you realise that all they've got to do is add another bit another one of them, and you've got a trifold,
And it's fine,
still
isn't it?
not a particularly fat phone. It's
Yeah.
still going to be a very slim, with a phone with a massive internal display. I'm very excited about that.
I think
If
this is
it- if
actually
it
a bit
happens.
larger than an iPhone, to be honest. The full screen.
May well be. It is than the iPhone 16e. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
Well, if you got an S25 Ultra handy, put it over it, and I think you'll find that the actual the overall image dimensions are larger on an S25 Ultra.
I've only
Or
got
at least
the
they were. Because that's got like an 8.9-inch internal display now, hasn't it? So maybe it is slightly bigger now, but
Maybe.
in previous foldables, it's always been, if you want to watch content, just get a normal phone.
Yeah. I've got to say, for gaming, it's actually very nice because it does use the whole screen. So I've tried a few games, old man games like Curse of Monkey Island and Oddmar and all those platform games. They're all completely taking the whole screen, and they look amazing. So I've also
the new one, the new monk, the new Monkey Island you played, did you?
yeah, well, newish. I guess.
I don't think it does fill the whole display.
Okay, well, I have to reinstall it because this is the new one that I got today.
Because
but
I also played that on my Magic V3, and I was annoyed at the bars at the top and bottom. So yeah, anyway. You never played it, did you, Mark? We got all excited about it, and then you never got around to playing it.
I'll do it. I promise. I won't. Probably won't. I'm going to stop promising doing things because we know that never happens. Let's move on to nothing.
Oh no, hold on! You still haven't told me whether or not I should continue with my Fold 7. So let's take a vote. You think I should proceed, Patrick?
yes, I do.
Right. Cheers, guys. Well,
Don't worry about the trifold. You can always trade your Fold 7 in for the trifold.
The thing is, with these better phones, there's always something better on the horizon, and I'm actually very happy about the fact that there's so much competition and they're actually innovating, because a certain fruit company isn't recently, and so I'm getting very, very bored, and I'm happy that some other companies are actually putting some R&D into making some new stuff, and let them give each other a hard time and give us better phones.
Which does lead us to nothing, actually, because they've always been doing interesting things, haven't they? So we've got the Nothing Phone 3 here. Patrick, did you get one? I can't remember if you did.
No, I've not at all no experience with Nothing phones.
Rob, have you got one? Because we haven't spoken since this all happened. Did you end up buying one?
I am about as excited about the Phone 3, the Nothing Phone 3, as I am the Flip.
Not very much, then.
It's too expensive. It's too expensive, and
Does that bother you? Does this?
Like you would believe, you knew the answer to that question before you even asked it, didn't you? Yeah, no, that does my head in. Couldn't live with that.
Yeah, I've heard that complaint a lot, that it's too expensive, because now it's like nearing flagship territory, I suppose, price wise, or at least the A brand phones.
Yeah.
So it's not setting itself apart anymore in the price category.
Yeah, so for the what they're charging for the Nothing Phone 3, you could get a regular iPhone, you could get a regular S25, you could get a Pixel.
Yeah.
Possibly a Pixel Pro. Can you get a Pixel Pro? Are they? Well, no, they start at about $1,000, don't they? The Pixel
Yeah,
Pros.
it's about $999. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and any of those, they're going to have top level cameras, top level, chips in them, bags of support for 7 years, etc. So, how many years of support are Nothing claiming you're going to get with this?
Ooh, I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't want to.
If it's 7, I'll be very surprised. But I don't know why anyone would buy one of these unless they really like how it looks, or they're sort of drinking the Carl Pay Kool-Aid. Although it's a little bit of an unfair comparison to say, well, look, for that same £800, you could get a base level iPhone or a base level S, because it's bigger than those phones, isn't it? You should be comparing it to an iPhone Plus or a S25 Plus, which is more expensive, but it's probably worth it, I think. If you're going to spend £800 and you want a bigger phone, spend a bit more and get a proper one. Don't cheap out and get a nothing, in my opinion. Which is I'm super pro nothing. I always have been. Their SIM eject tool is one of my favourite things on the planet. The charging cable that I take everywhere is the nothing super cool charging cable with the transparent ends. I like the whole vibe. I like their design. They're very teenage engineering, aren't they?
Yeah, I watched the Carl Pay's reaction to the Nothing Phone 3 reviews. It's worth watching that. He watches Mr. Who's the Boss and MKBHD and a few others, and he pointed out that with the pricing, the reason they do have to charge a bit more for seemingly lesser components is because they don't have the benefits of making mass orders like the bigger brands do. So they do have higher costs, which I completely understand, and he's very upfront about that. And his point is that as they grow, as they get bigger, those costs should reduce, and yeah, it's economics, isn't it? But it doesn't remove the fact that it's still an expensive phone. It's a flagship phone that doesn't have the flagship Snapdragon chip.
Yeah.
Etc. Etc.
I mean, they're valid reasons, but they're irrelevant to consumers, right? I mean, they don't
totally,
care.
Yeah. Apart from it's the only people it's not irrelevant to is the fans, isn't it? It's the nothing fans, and that's what they live and die by. Those people, I think, really. What about the headphones? What do you think about the headphones, guys? Because I've reviewed them, obviously, and I've been using them every day, actually. Just very quickly, I think they're great. I prefer them in black than silver, personally. I'm very happy they went with Kef, because I'm a massive Kef fan. I know that the audio has had a bit of a bashing from certain quarters, but I've had no problems with it. Out of the box, I think they sound fantastic. And they've got like a 10-band EQ, so if they don't sound right, you can get them sounding pretty much as you want. Very comfortable, very light. The case is too big. That's one thing. I keep forgetting to turn them off. That's another thing. I think they have an auto off, but because the switch is a hardware switch rather than a kind of just a touch and hold it to turn it on thing, that happens quite a lot. But apart from that, I've been really, really pleased with them.
Yeah, I've seen them. I haven't used them, so I don't know what they sound like or feel like. But I'm not a fan of the look. I think I did a little post about that even when I saw them. It gave me Temu Nintendo vibes. Nothing I would put on my head, no pun intended.
They do look better in black. I haven't got the black version, but I've seen them in person, and they do look a lot. It suits the black aesthetic, I think.
I'm just so sold on the Sonys. They've even like ruined the AirPods for me, which I didn't think would ever happen.
The XM6 is this?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
So
great,
good.
aren't they? They're so good. Rob, what do you think about the Nothing headphone?
Yeah, sorry to be like Mr. Money again. Yeah, I don't like them. Don't like them. I think partnering with Kef is genius. I can't think of anyone better that they could partner with, really, to tune the sound. And knowing that they've been tuned by Kef, I imagine they do sound spot on out of the box. But yeah, I haven't listened to them, and I don't really want to put them on my head, so yeah, I will not be getting any of those either. Sorry, Carl.
One day, when you come to the studio again, Rob will do that. I'll get them on your head. Right, time is getting a bit tight, partly because we are recording this on a Friday evening for all of us, and Patrick is an hour ahead as well, and I've got dad duties at some point I've got to get back to. So there's quite a lot of stuff coming up. There's a lot of stuff that's happened already. Very quickly, Google Pixel 10 launch has been announced, hasn't it, for the 20th of August. Are we all looking forward to that?
I'm not super interested in Google phones. I've used a few Pixels. I know they have a big following. I've never been Team Pixel, so I've never been part of the cult. The cameras are good, but so are most other A-brand cameras. I'm not that excited about it, no. Not at all. More so for the iPhones, but I think I'm going to be disappointed again, because I think the most interesting new thing would probably be the iPhone Air, which I would assume gets the same kind of reception as the Edge, the 25 Edge. Nobody's asked for it, so
Yeah.
I didn't want to skip ahead on the timeline here, but I know I'm not that excited about the Pixels.
Rob?
Yeah, I don't think they're ever going to top the presentation where they had Mark Verbier opening it. Remember
Is that the guy that I didn't know who he was?
Yeah,
Was it on the
looper,
decks.
the loopist guy.
Yeah.
Who amusingly opened the show with "Hey Siri, start Google I/O" or something. Mark Rabier, brilliant. I can't see him getting invited back after that. But,
No.
They've
got a tough job, haven't they? I mean, what? I think I love the 9. I think the 9 Pro and Pro X are great phones. Where do you go from there? What do you? And also, they've got one of the best AI platforms out there compared to Apple Intelligence, which isn't difficult, obviously. It's certainly it's level pegging with what Samsung's doing in that area. What do they do next? That's the question.
Actually, on the subject of AI stuff, so I've just realised I didn't say a single positive thing about Samsung. Their image AI tools, like object removal,
Yeah.
is
Amazing.
witchcraft, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. It's incredible.
That's not even like just compared to the others, because obviously you use an iPhone and that's tragic. The object removal on iPhone is an absolute
Yes, it
joke.
is.
It's like Tim has booted down your front door and scribbled all over your photo with crayons. That's what happens when you try to use the object removal on an iPhone. But then the others are having a go. So obviously I've got on a Magic V3. I took that photo. You took a photo of a coffee cup, didn't you, in a cafe, and you tried to remove it using removal tools. iPhone cocked it up completely. Samsung just made a new table and it was perfect, and you couldn't know. But yeah, I tried it on an Honor, and it did remove the cup that was in the photo, but it replaced it with another cup.
Fixed it.
So yeah, if there's one thing you can say for Samsung, I can't. Even someone as grumpy as their object removal is just incredible.
In fairness, that Honor one sounds like AI with a sense of humour. I quite like that. Like, I'm just going to put another cup there.
But
Maybe
the generative fill on Samsung is really good. I mean, I've done it in the curated setting at the hands-on, and I was really impressed because everything disappeared, and like you said, it just replaces it with the exact bit of the table that you would see if you would actually remove it. So that was amazing. But what really impressed me was when we went on this photo walk in Bushwick, I think it was, with all the graffiti in Brooklyn. And they had this sort of well-known graffiti piece. So there's been a lot of pictures taken by many people over the world. But there's a lot of trash in front of it. So there was piles of woods and pallets and all that kind of stuff taking up maybe a third of the artwork. Took a picture of it. And what it does is it removes the stuff and fills it in with the actual artwork that's behind it. So it takes pictures from all over the web, scrapes that information, fills in the blanks, and it was 99% perfect. That was so impressive.
Yeah, so my question to you guys is, how are the Google generative AI image editing facilities? Are they on par? Are they better?
I think they're on par. To be fair, I've not used it for quite a while because I don't tend to use that, apart from when I'm reviewing things and just trying to test them out and seeing what they're like. I don't really use them day to day. So I can't quite remember exactly how good they were, but I'm fairly sure they were on a par with what I tested with Galaxy AI. I think Google and Samsung have got it sewn up with AI. Personally, I think they're so far ahead, particularly of Apple.
Yeah, I find it difficult to get excited about whatever they've got to show because their Fold is not going. They've absolutely had their pants pulled down by the Fold 7, haven't they? The Pixel 10 Pro Fold is not going to be nearly as exciting, I don't think.
Could be surprised. Who knows?
I don't think so.
Apple, obviously, a lot has happened since we last did a podcast, and I've just noticed you've lifted the phrase that John, what's his name, Front Page Tech, FPT.
Oh, Prosser.
John Prosser. His one of the greatest thumbnails of this year so far, I think, which just said "liquid ass" on it in terms of when he was doing the liquid glass thing.
He's getting sued. Apple is suing him. Can you see that?
Yeah.
What, because of that?
No, not because of liquid
I was
ass.
going to
No,
say,
Well,
cut that out, Max. Do
Maybe
not
a little
include
bit
it.
because of that.
no, because of all his
angered the
dodgy
beast.
leaking of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Well, he's been doing that for years, but they're fed up with
Well,
him. I
they
think.
finally had enough of him. Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
he's in
not
some
get involved in
serious
that one. Rob, are you running the betas?
I'm running all the betas. I'm foolishly running the beta on my Mac here to do this podcast.
Must be all right then.
Yeah, so no, I've got the betas on everything, on the TV, on the iPad, on the watch, on the phone, on the Mac. It's everywhere, and it's fine.
trouble.
Well, the iPadOS 26 is great.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. That's the one thing that I was actually impressed by. I don't
Yeah.
like the glass thing at all. I think it's hideous.
It's too much, isn't it? I mean, it's going to get. I think hasn't it already been turned back a little bit? Have they adjusted
Yeah,
the
a little.
fader a bit?
Hmm I mean, the presentation looked really good, and also the things around it. You know, when they were moving the actual glass objects and stuff, that looked really cool, and the idea is cool. But then when you're holding it, and again, it's a beta, so I don't want to, get ahead of myself. But I really hate it. I think it looks clunky and amateurish, and it's like something from the early 2000s. It's just
It's Vista, isn't it?
nah, pretty much. No, I don't like
And
it.
no one liked it then either, so I don't know
No.
what they were thinking. Really.
But iPadOS 26, on the other hand, does change the way you use the iPad. If you are into the sort of the keyboard kind of use case, then I think they made some really important steps. I don't know if they would have done that if people weren't so dissatisfied recently. I think they gave in a little bit, but to our benefit.
I agree. I mean, it does make it still makes me question how to use the iPad. I'm still struggling to work out whether I could ever replace my Mac with it. I don't think I can't at the moment. I just can't do that. But I think, ironically, the more Mac-like they've made it, the more it's made me question how can I use this? Like because it's virtually a MacBook now. It's different because it's based on iPadOS, obviously still.
That's
But
the thing. It's limited by the apps. There's no full iOS apps or no Mac OS apps. So it's always, and everything to me at least still feels like a workaround. You can get stuff done. It just takes 4 or 5 times as long.
yeah, exactly. That's the challenge, isn't it? But Rob, have you started using it?
So, for years and years and years, Apple execs told us you don't want full windowing on an iPad because it's a crap experience.
Yep.
And we were like, no, it'd be brilliant. We want that. Give us... And no, they were right. I don't like it at all. In fact, in actual fact, it's now made me... It's given me a greater appreciation of what they were trying to do with the stage manager.
Yeah, it's still there.
That's actually better than the full windowed experience, I think. And what's better than either of those things is just using it like an iPad.
Yeah, true. And I think, but also I didn't really get the obsession with it replacing your MacBook. You already have a MacBook. What's there to replace? I mean, I often ask people this when they tell me, "Well, I just want a touchscreen on the Mac." Well, do you really though? Because do you really want to use full macOS apps using your finger or a stylus? I don't think so.
They're not built for that, are they? They're
No.
not designed for that at all.
No. I think the best thing they could do is bring them as close together as possible, and I think that's what they're trying to do over time. But it will never ever be a MacBook, nor should it be, and vice versa. I wouldn't want a touchscreen on my Mac. That's pointless. Maybe some artists, I don't know, but for me, I wouldn't be at all interested in that.
Yeah, the iPad's it's a troubling device for me. This is the most I use mine. This is my iPad Mini, and I use it as a
Mini, yeah.
reference thing. But even that is pushing. I could just have on my Mac in front of me. I could have the show outline on there. So I always feel like I'm pushing myself to use it rather than needing to use it, if that makes sense. But yeah, I like the direction it's going with personally with iPadOS 26. It needs a bit of refinement. Although it does feel close to being ready. I mean, it's so stable, that beta, isn't it?
Maybe that's why I like the Fold so much, because my favorite iPad, as you know, is the Mini, the only real iPad, and it's quite close to it. I think the Fold. it's in size, and
It
of
is.
course it's not. I mean, it's Android, but it's very good Android, and to have a phone and a mini, it's very appealing.
It's not far off. Interestingly, in my, I think it's in the Fold review that we published yesterday, there's been quite a few comments from people saying, you know, it's worth looking at a comparison between the Fold 7 on its own versus an iPhone plus an iPad mini. You know, what are the benefits of either of those setups?
Yeah.
Because like you say, it's not, if I hold up the Fold 7 against the iPad mini, it's not that much smaller, really. It's a bit smaller, but not, you know, it's one device, isn't it? It's that one thing that you carry around. So I think that's quite an interesting topic, actually.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
And what I would also be super interested in, but which we're definitely not getting this year at least, is an iPhone Fold. I'd love an iPhone Fold, and if they can turn it into a mini iPad somehow, I mean, that must be possible software-wise. Open it up, turns into an iPad.
I think we're going to see that next year, aren't we? From
That
what we're
I'll be
hearing.
interested in. That would really get me fired up again. But right now, it's such a snooze fest. I really am not interested at all in the new iPhones. I will review them, but it's going to be slightly better than. Marquez was saying that most companies have a tick year for incremental upgrades, and then a talk year for something like this. But I think Apple has had a few tick years in a row.
Tick, tick, tick.
Yeah, and time's running out.
and a Vine.
And
Yeah. So, and also what I would really like to see, and that we haven't seen at all, is a new Pro Display XDR kind of screen. Because I've been lusting over that thing, but it's so old that I just don't want to buy it, because I know the minute I buy it, there will be a new one. But I'd love that. Yeah, but I'd love a successor. That would also.
Someone has come out with a 6K display recently. I think it's either LG or Asus or someone.
Is it Asus?
So there is a more modern alternative. I mean, obviously it's not going to have like the cheese grater effect on the back or whatever.
That's it, though. It's such a beautiful piece.
It's a lovely thing. Well, again, all the rumours suggest that we are going to see some sort of new display, and there'll be an AirPods Pro 3. And there'll be a new Apple TV, which will probably have a newer chip, which will allow you to use Apple Intelligence on it. Not that you would want to, because it's rubbish. I do like tech, so this is why I'm on a tech podcast.
I promise.
Okay, I'll give you something that's really delighted me recently. It's on the iOS, iPadOS betas. If you use the Photos widget, you've got the Photos widget that will show you photos, it automatically spatial photoizes them. So you're flipping through your home screen, and then it will surface a photo of a recent memory or a nice event from the past, and it's all 3D spatialified in the widget.
That's
which is
cool.
Lovely. Have you seen that?
Yeah. I've not seen it, but
Give it a go. So whack the Photos widget on your home screen and wait for it to pick you a nice photo. And certainly in my experience, maybe because I excessively use the portrait mode, but I think it can do it even for photos you haven't taken with portrait mode, because it's still saving all of the depth information. Or I think in fact it even works when you haven't got a LiDAR equipped iPhone, doesn't it? But in any case. That's my tip of the day: is install the iPhone, because it's delightful. It's really nice. I'm going to counter that with something that's really awful, which is do you either of you use Mail on macOS, the Apple Mail app?
very rarely, occasionally.
Are you? What do you use out of interest?
Outlook.
Outlook on my Mac, and Spark actually since a year now on my iOS devices. Actually, on all my devices. Spark? No, me too. I stopped using it, but it got really good now. So
because it got dreadful for a while, didn't it?
Mm-hmm, it did.
Was really bad.
It did. But I thought I'd give it another go, and I haven't found a perfect email app yet, but it's getting there. It's very, very good. And I love being able to install it on a phone and then automatically have all my email boxes back. I don't have to reinstall them every single time. Use them on my Android and my iPhone. So yeah, that's my favorite currently. But yeah, Outlook on my Mac. Maybe it's because I'm old, but still using Outlook. I think
Outlook's great.
It's nothing else that beats it. I don't like the Mail app at all.
I would use Outlook. I really like it, but it's a 2 gig app for an email
The
client.
mobile version, I think, is rubbish, to be honest.
Well, that's not really Outlook, is it? They bought that in. That was another email client that they bought and put Outlook branding on it.
Okay, I didn't know that.
But yeah, no,
Explains
the desktop Outlook app is quite good, but it's 2 gig, so I won't use it on principle because that's ludicrous. So yeah, so I reverted back to the original, the Apple Mail app. But they've got a new animation when it goes to retrieve your emails. That's like Knight Rider.
Yeah.
The kit car where it sort of goes back and forth. It's like that, but it's liquid glass. It's not nice. It's horrible. So I hope that goes.
You liked it.
No, it's dreadful.
Well, guys, we have reached the end of the hour. We've gone past it, which I thought we would, because we'd have such an amazing conversation. We had this whole thing with this new podcast where we were going to interview the guest and talk about your background and stuff. We haven't done that with you, Patrick, but I don't think we need to, because yeah, you'll be back on here, and we know who you. Everyone knows who you are. Before we go, there's the last silly thing which you've.
I was hoping you'd still mention that.
Yeah, which is a new Commodore 64.
Yeah, I heard about it through you guys earlier today when you.
Yeah, I had no idea either. This is Rob.
Clicked it, and I want one.
Right. Yeah.
It's one of those things. It's not too expensive. It's within gadget pricing. And funnily enough, this week I was actually talking to my dad about his first computer, which was a Commodore 64. And I think it was mine too, my first one. So that will be very nostalgia-driven purchase.
It does look awesome, doesn't it?
It does.
Great ad for it as well.
Especially the OG one. They have several ones, I think, a translucent one, but I want the slightly yellow.
Yeah, it needs to be that, doesn't it? It needs like it's been around for a few decades.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got to just keep doing. I mean, going back to what we were saying about interesting phones and stuff. This is why tech is still interesting, because we just go backwards, aren't we? We're just resurrecting. There's that. I've completely forgotten who it was, but I saw it on Casey Neistat's recent video where it was about this new Game Boy, but like the perfect Game Boy, so really, really well made. It's about 200 quid or something. Really, really well made, it's been made by this billionaire guy who just makes the perfect things that he wanted old tech to be when it first came out. Yeah, I love that sort of stuff. It's great.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are, maybe it's just my little echo chamber, but I think a lot of people in my surroundings at least are very nostalgic lately about the 90s again, listening music. I recently purchased a Game Boy, like an original version 1 Game Boy, and I've been playing Tetris. And I was actually shocked that it didn't have backlighting. I forgot about that. So you need an actual light to play the game.
Did they do a backlit version? Was there
a... later on, sure, yeah. But not that one.
Not the original one, no. Amazing.
So, yeah.
So if you go to Commodore.net, right, you can go and you can find out about this Commodore 64 reissue. And it looks brilliant, doesn't it? But if you go into the menu and you go into the team and you scroll down a bit, you will see that the Chief Creative Officer is none other than Thomas Middleditch, which may not be a name that springs out immediately to you. If you're looking at the website, you'll recognise him immediately. Here's the actor that played Richard Hendricks in Silicon Valley.
He looks very different on this website, doesn't he? Maybe it's the hat.
So that's weird.
It's a bit weird, isn't it? Also, he's like 2/3 of the way down the page. Lots of people involved in this, but yeah, is it not explained why he's involved in this? Or
not that I could see.
Why are there so many people? There's loads of them.
There's some interesting looking dudes.
Yeah. Did you know he was part of that, Robert? Were you scrolling down and just spotted him and thought...
Yeah, no, that's it. I was scrolling down. I was like, is that... No,
it is.
No, it is. It is. Richard Hendricks from Silicon Valley is part of this Commodore 64 rebirth.
Incredible. Yeah, that's going to have to go on the list, I think, of things that I won't buy, even though I want to buy it.
Yeah. Can we actually buy it? Because it's a US page? There is a Euro option. And a GBP as well. Okay.
We should use our influence, Patrick, to get one. We shouldn't have to buy this stuff. They should know who we are.
Keep
Why
forgetting
am I getting
that.
sent this?
Don't buy my own tech.
Right, on that note, we're going to sign off. But Patrick, thanks for being the first ever guest on Not PC.
Thanks for having me.
Did we talk about PCs? We didn't, did we? So we lived up to the name already.
Political correctness?
Well, that's the thing, is it? What does it mean? That's what part of the reason.
What does
the
it
name.
mean? Let's keep it a mystery.
Who knows? Yeah, cheers, Patrick, and thanks, Rob. It's good to be back.
See you guys.
Catch you in the next one. Cheers.
So yeah.